Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, as Mr. Yo, playing as the Tatars in blue, gets ready to take on .dogao, playing as the Mayans in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to go up to Feudal Age as fast as possible. Let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. We saw the Tatars a few days ago. Man, oh man, a civilization that does everything it can to push you towards mounted units. Their cav archers come with extra line of sight. They get Parthian tactics and thumb ring for free. Their scout line units, their step lancers, and their cav archers all can be upgraded to get extra armor. And their first unique unit is the Keshik, a medium cavalry unit that actually generates gold every time it attacks, pokes, and prods at an opponent, which is fantastic because as the game goes on, as this resource, shiny as it is, becomes more and more scarce, Keshiks become more and more valuable. Now, once your army is out on the field of battle, very important for the Tatars to take the high ground because instead of the usual 25% extra damage, they do 50% extra damage when they get the high ground over their opponent. This becomes even more important during the later stages of the game as trebs start coming out because Tatar trebs can be upgraded to get a massive range boost. A fully upgraded Tatar treb, 19 range. Now, in order to help feed a big, hungry, cavalry-based population, Tatar herdables do contain 50% more food, and starting in Castle Age, when you build any new town center, you get 2 free sheep for free. I believe it's sheep. Even when you start with other animals like Piggly Wigglies, like goose, duck geese, or llamas, or whatever, I still think you just basically get 2 sheep. We'll see if we're lucky enough to get to Castle Age. We're lucky enough to see Mr. Yo plop down multiple town centers. We'll test that theory as he now pushes a deer. Immediately to the east, as I said, we've got .dogao playing as the Mayans in red, a civ that does whatever it can to push its players towards archers. Their skirmishers can be upgraded to throw a second, albeit weaker projectile, and their foot archers become progressively cheaper as the game goes on, all the way up to 30% cheaper in Imperial Age, which does help them mass their unique unit, the Plumed Archer. This is the fastest foot archer in the game, does come with a small, cool attack bonus against infantry, so not really expecting to see much use out of that bonus in this matchup. In any event, to support their ranged units against the enemy, Mayan walls are 50% off, buy one, get one free, so your archers can stay safe behind a lot of these, and you can upgrade your Eagle Warriors to get a massive plus 40 HP amount, which, when they're fully upgraded, Elite Eagle Warriors for the Mayans, 100 HP, which is pretty bonkers because as we saw in the previous game with the Mayans, those Eagle Warriors do come with an attack bonus against cavalry, which may be problematic for our Tatar. We'll see. Lots of different avenues this game can take. Now, in order for the Mayans to produce as large an army as possible, their resources last 15% longer, and they do start the game with an extra villager, but 50 less food, which can help them reach Feudal Age faster so they can start taking advantage of those cheaper archer units. Now, I don't know if you noticed in the beginning at the top right of your screen, you'll have seen .dogao researching Loom immediately because the Mayans do start with 4 villagers and a scout. They do actually start the game housed, which means you need to build houses ASAP, which means you are pretty much at, you know, you're free. What was I trying to say? At will? No, you're basically free to research Loom immediately. And your villagers are safe right from the get-go. Although, unlike the Goths, it does take a bit of time to research that upgrade. In any event, looks like the players will intersect in the middle of the map as Scout meets Scout. Let's see it. Okay, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe not. First wrong call of the game at the 6-minute 52-second mark of the game. Anyway, let's take a look at the resources. Primary gold. Man, is that exposed for our Mayan, who is housed again. And does he care? No, he doesn't really care. He is going up to Feudal Age. Primary stone nice and secured in the back. Mr. Yo discovers the town center, takes no arrow fire from the town center, and backs the hell away. Resources, let's take a look. Keep looking. Forests in a bit of a nuclear shape triangle. So .dogao, not a terrible wall off. I like that this forest extends all the way to the edge of the map, which means it does help anchor any kind of wall, but a nice triangle shape for our Mayan, who has additional golden stone in the forward position and a stone pile nice and secure in the back. Our Tatar, primary gold, annoyingly placed right next to a big old jumbly hill. Also 3 forests, although in a bit of an isosceles triangle as opposed to a equilateral triangle, I guess. Oh man, those are two words I have not seen, read, or used in about 25 years since I graduated from grade 5. Or maybe that was 30 years since I graduated from grade 5. Man, oh man, am I old. Anyway, primary gold annoyingly next to the hill, but lots of open space. Not really in the forward position, but exposed nonetheless. Primary stone in the back, and it looks like our Tatar does have something that our Mayan doesn't, which is a big fat forest in the backwards position. Also a nice and secure gold, just like our Mayan has. And right now, Mr. Yo, our Tatar, keeping an eye on that secondary gold. Additional wood being gathered here for our Tatar. And then a few additional resources off campus. So both players are really similar-ish bases, triangle shape, primary golds, not in the greatest, not in the worst of positions, but a little bit of an advantage here for our Tatar with this big fat forest. I mean, this is a 13,000 wood that our Mayan doesn't have, and our Mayan, again, an archer civilization. Man, oh man, do they need wood. And a relic, which our Mayan doesn't have in the back of his base as well. Let's take a look at what the players are doing. It looks like our Tatar, Mr. Yo, wants to begin walling off. Not a stranger to massive undertakings of construction is Mr. Yo, as he carves out a big chunk of the map. There's about an eighth of the map here for himself. An additional house because he is starting to approach getting housed. Our Mayan, not too sure what to make of this. Not exactly looks... Okay, right. Of course, as I was about to say, doesn't look like he wants to really wall himself off from the rest of the world. Of course, he begins walling himself off from the rest of the world. Spearman on the high ground. Did he get it? Well, actually, was he on the high ground? Yeah, look at that. Instead of 18 damage, he does 22 damage. Always fun to see how these things work in real time. Mr. Yo, actually, let's do something that we should do every game with the Tatars and take a look at the mini-map and see where the high ground is. I mean, there's a big elevation here to the south of the map, but in the center of the map, just 3 small hills. So not exactly a map that is super duper friendly to the Tatars in terms of elevation, but a few natural spots where Mr. Yo might want to maneuver. His army might want to perhaps manipulate the game so that it reaches there. At the moment, though, he doesn't seem to really care, as 4 scouts circle the back of the Mayan base. As the Mayan moves out, pauses to take a bit of a break, maybe change his socks, and now he continues onwards with a bit of an assortment of units here. Some archers, some spearmen, and his OG scout unit. And look at this. Dogao has already walled his resources off, realizing that his opponent is not moving forward with any kind of ranged units. And look at that one scout. Oh my goodness. 2 HP is left on him. And Dogao continues walling himself off. So, I mean, it's starting to look like a triangle. Yeah, he said it was going to look like a triangle. An interesting wall off here. I don't think this actually connects. I don't think there's a... no, there's a palisade behind here, so it does save these lumberjacks. And now he peels one scout off. Where is this super weak scout? Probably on scouting duty. LOL. Okay, he's going to catch out a villager. He's going to get a villager. And look at the brilliant move out of Dogao. Look at the brilliant move. He's trapped. He's trapped the scouts of his opponent, so he knew that he was going to lose the villager. She sacrifices her life here in this little nook. What a baller move out of our red Mayan. Fantastic. How many of us would have taken that villager and clicked to the right so that it moved towards the spearman instead of the left, where it would trap those 3 scouts? Now, luckily, he did manage to get one. I'm surprised the other 2 were able to escape unharmed. Fantastic play out of Dogao, who is now himself pushing into the Tatar base. And look at the army counts. 13-3. He's got 4 times bigger army. And of that 3, 1 unit is basically useless. 2 HP means that he is on map scouting duty as our Mayan army shows up to actually try to bust in here. We've got 4 eagles, 5 archers, 2 spearmen, and a lot of oomph. We got another archer making his way forward here. This is something you usually see out of the Aztecs with their civ bonus of faster producing military units. You see them scaling their army much quicker than their opponents generally, although of course depends on the matchup and the players, etc. But our Mayan is here. Mr. Yo, in typical fashion, cool as a cucumber, not overreacting, not panicking, drops down a market, which he needed anyway. But let's take a look. He's got a stable. He's got an archery range. He's got a blacksmith, a barracks, and a market. He's got one of everything. Not too sure where these blue scouts think they're going. This is Death Alley over here for them. Okay. Red backs away. Seems like he lost an archer and a spearman here to Mr. Yo's defensive force. Who got the kills? Not this skirmisher. Not this skirmisher. Must be this one. Yeah, 1 kill for you. Kill count stands at a massive 3-2 in favor of our Tatar, who again is using his low HP scout. Fantastic. Always do that when your units take a bad engage in the earlier stages of the game, and you have a unit, for example, with 2, 3 HP, 10 HP. 10 maybe not. 10 you can still get a whack off at your opponent before they whack you right back. That sounds incredibly dirty. You guys know what I mean. With 10 HP you can still take a punch, a sword thrust, a javelin, an arrow, a spear. But if you have a low amount of HP, doesn't hurt to take that unit and then just scout around the map. Maybe you'll find some wild mustangs you can break and have them join your army. The Tatars always on the lookout for additional recruits for their horse-based army. Now this is sour. He has to build a second market here. So Mr. Yo going up to castle just about 12 or so seconds ahead of his opponent, off the back of the exact same number of villagers, but army count he's still down. 12 army count in total. Has secured his base at this stage of the game. Not really much that DogAo can do in order to push in here. These archers, even with their +1 range and attack, are not going to be able to reach this villager, especially now that these skirmishers are here on the bottom side of it. And he decides to cancel the market, gets the majority of that wood back, and instead plops down 2 houses. Ooh, risky move here for Mr. Yo. Okay. Scout's not really taking much damage, but man, look at this Mayan army. It is here to play. Now, did DogAo need to build this massive of an army knowing that his opponent was going fast castle? I shouldn't say knowing, suspecting that his opponent would go fast castle. Whenever you have Mr. Yo and a civilization as absolutely mobile and mounted and fast-paced as the Tatars, if you don't see him out on the map, if he's not attacking you, chances are he's back home, shoring up his defenses, trying to get his butt up to the next age. Should DogAo have waited, gotten another 5% discount on these archers, it would have been 10% cheaper instead of 5, and now they are, in fact, 10% cheaper. Oh no, what am I talking about? 10%. Oh my god, 10% cheaper. Sorry. They're 10% cheaper in Feudal, 20% cheaper in Castle Age. My bad, even worse. He's now no longer training anymore, but in 2 seconds they're going to be crossbows. There they are. 27 army count to 10. But again, of the 10, 2 of it is basically here. It's basically dead. What is Mr. Yo doing? He's going to see. He's going Step Lancers. Okay, Step Lancers, not exactly the cheapest counter to these crossbows. Is he going to mix in any more skirmishers? No, 1 skirmisher bites the dust. The second one bites the dust. The third one falls as well. What an absolute disaster here for Mr. Yo. But we've seen him hold with less. We've seen him hold against more. But it looks like this house is going to go down. It's going to get penetrated. But a Mango shows up. Mango attacks. Spearman from the Feudal Age dies. Blood staining the grasslands, and now our Mayan has to respect this. He has to back away. Or does he? Does he? What do we think? 21 crossbows, almost full HP against 1 mangonel? I don't know that he really does need to respect this. With enough micro, splitting him up. We'll keep an eye on this town center so we can see whether or not I was right that it spawns 2 sheep instead of 2 piggly wigglies. As now Mr. Yo is out on the map. Now he's exploring, trying to find avenues of attack. But our Mayan base is pretty damn secure. Decides to delete a palisade so that this monk can get in here. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Bad pathing here by Mr. Yo, but... My god. They missed almost every single volley. Oh, the fun of early Castle Age. It's like Feudal, but with even more shenanigans. But 1 monk is out, 2 more somewhere out on the map, so Mr. Yo has to back the hell away. Oh, I missed the oh no, they are sheep. Okay, so I was right, you do get sheep even though your starting animal is not a sheep. I wonder why that is. I wonder why it's not just you get 2 herdables compared to specifically sheep. How many villagers? 6 pulled off the production line to start building another town center. Scout pokes in a little bit too far. and pays the price. Now we've got how many? 28, 31 in total crossbows on the map. Mr. Yo might want to take a bit of a more aggressive approach. Like I said, we've seen him be very relaxed in the past, but I don't know if that's going to work in this case. The Tatars are not exactly a cheap civilization to play. Oh God, if Dogao only knew, if he only knew how tucked in and trapped these step lancers are. I think they have a 1 base pierce. Yeah, 1 base pierce. So they're only at a 2 pierce armor against a unit that now attacks on a 7. Uh-oh. Mr. Yo, pathing. Let's see it. Let's see what happens here if he discovers. No, okay, so he sees the army here. He uses his first mangonel shot, which absolutely misses. But the Eagles are going to wreck this mangonel unless the step lancers can come in and help them. Let's see who gets there first. The Eagles obviously do. Let's take a look. They're still scouts, but it is Castle Age, so their cavalry bonus is +2. Their siege is +3. The Eagle, man, I love to point it out. I'm like a broken record sometimes. I do like to point out the same things over and over again. Eagles are quite a versatile unit. There's a lot of discussion about the Meso Civs, you know, obviously lacking cavalry and things like that. But man, that Eagle Warrior comes with an impressive amount of attack bonuses. Monk number 1 dies. Monk number 2 dies. Monk number 3. Monk number 4, but 2 conversions and a whole bunch of dead step lancers. Actually, no, I was going to say, I don't know who wins that in terms of resources or positioning, but yeah, I would trade 4 dead monks for 7 step lancers and 2 conversions. Oh God, what I wouldn't do is walk straight into a mangonel shot as Dogao just did. Good attack rounds there, managing to get the Eagles, but now a second one. Not exactly a Korean mangonel with 1 minimum range, so it does have to die. Step Lancers putting on some counter aggression, come forward, see the siege workshop, see the flags on top of it, know there's something in there, don't know exactly what, and their HP is terrible enough that they need to back away. They're literally at half HP. Like I was saying, Step Lancer's not a cheap unit. And so the fact that Mr. Yo is doubling down on them, I definitely would have thought he would have mixed in a few skirmishers, right? How many military buildings does he actually have? Let's take a look. He's got, okay, so he doubled down on stables, only 1 archery range. Now, Step Lancers against Eagles should do fantastically, especially with their 1 range. They can attack one behind the other, and Mr. Yo secures his base. He's got a quarter of the army supply of his opponent. He's down 10 villagers, 9 by the time I finish that sentence. Uh-oh. But he's secured his base. The Mayan army is basically cut in half here, but he does not have enough units, nor are they healthy enough to take advantage of that fact. He could have absolutely moved in if some of these units were a little bit haler. Or is it more, is haler a word? Or is it more hail? I'll take that. I'll take a look at that. I've been having difficulty with some words lately. Man, oh man. I do not want to sound like I do not know what I'm talking about, so I will look it up. I don't think haler is a word. It must be more hail. Okay, definitely got the old ballistics upgrade. Did it miss, rather Dogao. Oh God, Mr. Yo runs in, finds out that there is a castle. Not only does he lose a Step Lancer, a bear gets activated, chases him, but luckily for him, I think the castle tried to hit the Step Lancers and then hit the bear instead. Oh my God, how sandwiched is this army right now? Monks, mangonel to the north, crossbows to the south. He loses 3 more Step Lancers. I mean, Dogao is just neutralizing Mr. Yo. Whatever the hell Mr. Yo has is just getting absolutely neutralized. I mean, how else do I put this in mathematics? Mr. Yo's attacking with a 5. Dogao rolls a -5, neutralizes it immediately. He's got more Step Lancers than his opponent. Amazing, amazing. Now, this is about as good as it gets for the Mayan. I think the only Meso Civ that does not get redemption for their monks, which means that they cannot convert buildings like stables or siege units, but right now, more importantly, stables, as he tries to bust his way in here. I mean, this is one of my pet peeves, right? You've got a unit with 7 range, and you're 1 tile away from this house. A mangonel could sneak up on you if you're not paying attention, pop out of the shadow and attack you. Things like this are a pet peeve. Oh my God, exactly what's happening. Okay, how many kills was that? 2 kills only. Not there. Not terrible. Not terrible. Could have been a lot worse there for Dogao. Could have been a lot worse for Dogao, who looks like managed to stop in the middle of everything and kill a bear. And again, our Mayan still has more Step Lancers. What is Mr. Yo doing? He is rushing his butt up to Castle Age. Your opponent has literally 10 times the army count that you do, and you are rushing up to Imperial. Imperial, not Castle Age. Imperial. This is a big problem, I think, for Mr. Yo, who has zero. Take a look at his map vision. This is why he's rushing up to Imperial, because he doesn't know that there's no forward position threatening his base right now. There is no red infrastructure anywhere in the immediate vicinity. It's close to home. I mean, it's out on the map, but it's close to home, and now it is. Had he seen that there was nothing, perhaps he would have invested those 1,800 resources into building some kind of bigger army. Instead, he's going Keshik. Okay. And there they are again, the two sheep for every town center. As he now begins walling his base off, he expects run-bys, but I don't know, you haven't seen any eagles. Anytime anyone plays against or with a Mesoamerican civilization, I always love talking about how the eagles are just such an awesome raiding unit. Whether they get more HP, a higher attack, or more armor, depending which Meso-civ you are. Sheep evacuating. They do not want to be part of what comes next. Does Mr. Yo see this? No, he does not. It looks like the relic being taken for our Mayan, who, by the way, I failed to point out, reached Imperial ahead of Mr. Yo with an army 4 times bigger now. It used to be 10 times bigger. It used to be 4 to 39. Now it's 8 to 36. So not exactly the biggest change, but Dogao actually needs to start shoring up his military. Although with these numbers, he can pretty much focus now on upgrades. Eagle Warrior upgrade. Okay. He's training 12 Halberdiers. He's getting an Eagle. I think the Eagle probably for backup, if he can bust through the base. I mean, he sees this. He sees that there's an opening here to the north. So I think Dogao probably... I shouldn't... Okay, you know, I'm not going to say probably. Dogao might be planning a multi-pronged attack. He might be trying to charge in with this army in the center and preparing a possible Eagle raid unit, brigade, whatever you want to call it. Little does he know that Mr. Yo's got literally nothing. He's got 10 army count, and he's going up to Elite Keshik. Mr. Yo thinks he has a lot more time than I think he actually has. And look at this monk stifling the production of those houses. And wow, in the midst of this full frontal attack, Dogao has the wherewithal to see that there is a mangonel here. Very terrible attack rounds or attacks period out of our Tatar, who loses that mangonel, but will get a monk in exchange. So not the worst trade in the world, not the great trade, but not the worst trade in the world. And now Scout from the high ground, 50% more damage. Oh my god, look at how much damage he's doing. 35 to 26, 9 damage from a Scout on the high ground. Oh my god, he's gonna kill the Keshiks. He's gonna kill the Keshiks. The Step Lancers, oh my god, I've got Keshiks on my brain. In they charge, but out of nowhere appear a whole bunch of Halberdiers. 2 Trebs are down. Will the third? Will he get it? No, he doesn't. It survives with 18 HP as this massive Mayan army just pushes him back. I mean, they're elite, but if only they had Blast Furnace. I tell everyone watching. Actually, did he get it in the end? What the hell just happened? Yeah, it did fall. I tell everyone this. If you're going melee and you want to hit Imperial, make sure you have resources to research Blast Furnace immediately. Otherwise, that is a minute 40 seconds. And now all of a sudden, Keshiks are out on the map. We'll take a look at our blue players' gold count. Take a look, 80, 81, 82, 103, 104, 105, 106. It just goes up every time they tinkle at an opponent. Treb pops out at probably the worst location possible for it. Keshiks take on Halberdiers. They will win this fight, but not without great loss to their numbers. And Mr. Yo says, you know what, I can't really take the stone that's right in front of my base, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to take the stone right next to your base. But the guy was here. His army count now back into the 50s. He is not relenting, and now Mr. Yo is adding elite skirmishers. I mean, that's a fantastic add at the moment. Again, you see Halberdiers, you see crossbows. You don't see a single Eagle Warrior anywhere. Why the hell wouldn't you add elite skirmishers, which counter both of these units? The problem is the castle should fall anytime now, and once that castle falls, his forward will be penetrated. Now, the good news is it's going to be penetrated by halberdiers, and crossbows does not even manage to get that monk over here. So not exactly the quickest killing unit, so you do have an opportunity here. Maybe not with 5 trebuchets. DogAO wants to end this game yesterday. Oh, now he's raiding this stone pile up to the north. So Mr. Yo's only stone pile. He doesn't have enough stone for a castle. Not that he really has the resources to go full on Keshik. He needs to start producing more and more and more. He does not have enough production. 5 archery ranges is a good start. One of them hasn't even been built yet. But is it too little too late? Was our cool as a cucumber Tatar a little bit too cool? A little bit too cucumbery, as his base is now absolutely breached. Halberdiers making their presence known in the north. Halberdiers and crossbows making their presence known here in the center. Why the hell is our Mayan not getting arbalests is my question. Oh, this castle is gonna fall so fast. Well, it looks like 3, but there are 4 trebs here. Down center falls as well. Come on, produce more. He is getting upgrades. Mr. Yo, why the hell are you investing in upgrades at this moment? I mean, I guess you have the resources, but now is not the time. Now is the time for production. Farm is not important. Take your 30 villagers off of food immediately. Send them to Jack Lumber. Oh no, are we going to see a GG? Usually when the players at this level leave a bunch of villagers exposed doing nothing, that is a sure sign that a GG is coming, but never know with Mr. Yo. We've seen him... I was gonna say we've seen him win with fewer units against the greater odds, but no, right as I say that, I mean, look at the numbers. He's down way too much. He's down 55 army supply. El Dorado, he doesn't have a I was gonna say he doesn't have a single eagle warrior. He's got 38 in the production tab, so the follow-up here is just going to be absolutely deadly. Did Mr. Yo see the eagle? Let's see Mr. Yo's vision. Is that why he GG'd? Because he saw the eagle? Yeah, he must have seen the eagle. He must have clicked the eagle. He must have seen that it's fully upgraded with 100 HP. And now his counter is countered. And with that counter being countered, he can no longer counter the counter. And I'm going to stop trying to be clever and say that just Mr. Yo seeing that eagle warrior realizes that, okay, now there's nothing I can really get. My castle's down. My forward infrastructure is absolutely down. Does he have a single stable? Does he have a single anything other than archery ranges and a siege workshop? No, he does not. Blacksmith does not really helpful. Houses in the back here. What is he taking here? A bit of gold to the back. And wow, our Mayan also, by the way, in the midst of all of this, depriving Mr. Yo of the relics. We know how much Mr. Yo loves being out on the map and taking relics. And somehow our Tatar in the hands of Mr. Yo was outmaneuvered by our Mayan in the hands of DogAO, who absolutely, like I said, just neutralized every time Mr. Yo tried to get something done out on the map. Out of nowhere, crossbows would come, archers would come, pikemen would come, halberdiers would show up, and our Mayan just absolutely steamrolling after neutralizing his opponent. 48 Keshiks do not stand a chance against DogAO's army here. PKPM, oh, really interesting. Usually Mr. Yo's at the 30-second mark of the game, but here towards the end, actually, both of the players towards the end, although our Mayan right towards the end. How much bigger is we think the Mayan economy is? Okay, not terrible, under 20%. Relics, about 1,400 extra gold from relics. All the scarce resources going to the Mayan. More food for our Tatar, but ultimately, I think this is what betrayed him. The 5,000 less wood that he got. And let's take a look at the conversions. 7 conversions out of an army count high of 109. Is what, 6%? Just under 7% of the Tatar army became Mayan. There was even, like I mentioned, a point in the game when our Mayan had more steppe lancers than our Tatar, and this Keshik just went to town. 13 kills, 12 of them economic. All of the stone miners here died. So Mr. Yo, just like I said, just a little bit too cool. He was this game, a little bit too relaxed, maybe. Although PKPM is right in towards the end of the game is not something we generally see out of Mr. Yo, but fantastic game. DogAO, like I said, just absolutely neutralizing any attempt by Mr. Yo to get any damage done on his side of the map. then in the middle of the map, then in the edges of his own base, or rather his opponent's base. And once he neutralized that, our Tatar just could not move out. He went Step Lancers, which again are pretty damn expensive. I'm really questioning why he didn't go skirmishers when he saw that small force of archers and, rather I should say crossbows and pike over here. Or who's kidding who? It was mostly crossbows. But wow, 154 kills, 161 kills. Our Mayan 63 dead villagers of his opponent. Although I suspect that was all towards the end of the game when he was just raiding the hell out of his opponent's base. And with the absolute counter unit, I mean, fantastic. DogAo just playing an absolutely fantastic game against Mr. Yo. Steamrolls, and like I said, neutralized them at home, neutralized them out on the map, neutralized them near and inside his own base, and then just brought in 5 trebuchets. Now 4. It looks like the Keshiks raided the 5th trebuchet. You can see the wood, I think, underneath here. So Mr. Yo just not able to dislodge this Mayan army, and with that Mayan army, DogAo takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.